Good morning, everyone. Consumer. Consumer is a person or a group of people that buys or and purchase a goods and services. A consumer is also another word, a customer or a client that comes inside of a mall or SM mall or restaurants that buys goods and services. And now, consumption process. This is a process ng mga goods, services, and ideas na ginamit and na-transform into value. This includes yung mga steps na nagbigin sa needs ng customers and na finish with value. Consumption sites. Consumption sites, yung mga consumption sites like yung sa American malls, fast food restaurants, clothing chains, at mga iba pa. And meron ding internet site katulad ng Amazon.com and eBay.com na nag-spread around the world. Thank you.
Next topic is about worldwide division of labor and the development of modern world system. Sabi ni Wallerstein, in this modern world system, may mga bansa talaga na hindi pantay-pantay ng advancement. Kaya naman may tinatawag tayong level of hierarchy. So, sa division of labors, meron tayong 3 levels, which is the core, periphery, and the semi-periphery. So, ano nga bang pinagkaiba ng tatlo? Let's start with the core. The core, these are the areas that dominated the capitalist world economy and exploits of the rest of the system. And some of the examples are the US and Japan. So, basically, ito yung mga bansa na nangunguna in terms of capitalist economy at yung mayayamang bansa. Next is the periphery. These are the areas that provide raw materials to the core and are heavily exploited. Some of the examples are mainly in the African region. So, ito daw yung mga less developed na country because of some obstacles like lack of technology, unstable government, poor education, and health systems. The last one is semi-periphery, a residual category that encompasses a set of regions somewhere between exploiting and the exploited. Some of the examples are India and Philippines. Sa semi naman, ibig sabihin, sila yung mga nasa periphery na level papunta sa core na level. Next is the international division of exploitation. It is defined not by the state borders, but by the economic division of the world. There are 3 things necessary for the rise of the capitalist world economy. First is the geographical expansion. It is the era of exploration and colonization in Europe that created wider networks of people and market. It was incorporated with the crumbling feudal economy, slave trade, and availability of commodities for exchange to other countries. In short, geographical expansion is expanding the availability of the country. Next is worldwide division of labor. It was estimated to have begun in the 16th century as capitalism replaced statism as a major mode of domination. Different areas came to realize in producing particular types of workers, and at that time, alam nila yung specialized function ng mga trabaho. And lastly, is the core state's development. The involvement of political sector and how the various economic groups use state structures to protect and advance their interests. The last topic that I will discuss is about the pressure of incorporation. So, ano nga ba ang topic na to? It is about the rise of the global financial market and modern ways of producing, distributing, and consuming products and services all over the world. In maintaining a good balance between maintaining state power and being a part of modern world system, the state must be strong enough to protect their own economies from external threats. So, in other words, incorporation means the legal process used to form a corporate entity or company, and the pressure comes from maintaining the balance between the state power and the pressure of the global economy.
Race to the bottom and upgrading. A dominant idea in thinking about less developed economies from a global perspective is the so-called race to the bottom. The basic argument is that for less developed countries to compete and succeed in the global economy, they must undercut the competition in various ways, such as offering lower wages, poorer working conditions, longer hours, ever-escalating pressure and demands, and so on. In this case, that one nation ay willing to go further katulad ng iba para ma-attract yung interest ng multinational corporation or MNC. Ever smiling, i-decline yung wages ng others to occur in the winning yung mga less developed nation, at least until it is undercut by other countries. Eager to work and willing na i-offer kahit mababa yung ibayad, poorer working condition, and so on. In other words, yung mga countries na may trabaho at gawa ay mananalo sa race to the bottom. This point can be made more generally under the heading of industrial upgrading, through which economic actors, nations, firms, and even workers move from low-value to relatively high-value activities in global production network. This can occur in four sequential stages: assembly, original equipment, manufacturing or OEM, original brand name manufacturing or OBM, and original design manufacturing or ODM. Ribery generalized from this argue that nations and areas within them must win the race to the bottom in order ultimately to succeed. Victory in this race is, in her view, the ignition switch that turns the economy on and gets it rolling. Ribery's view on this is hotly debated and much disputed because its clear association with neoliberalism. As a result, it seems to endorse the race to the bottom sa lahat ng countries na interesado sa development. Di lamang ito leads them into poverty for at least a time, but greatly advantage sa wealth, north which is guaranteed continuing source of lower price goods and services as one country replaces another at the bottom. Winning the race to the bottom is no guarantee of adaptive upgrading, but is a guarantee of low wages and poverty for an unknown amount of time. The mean of economic globalization points to the growing importance of economic globalization. While that is the predominant view as well as the one adopted here, there are those who do not accept it. For example, Paul Hirsch and Graham Thompson famously argued that globalization, especially economic globalization, is a myth. They argue that such a highly internationalized economy, although it may not have been labeled global, is not a presented. In fact, the current world economy may well be less open than the world economy during the period 1870 to 1914. Provide a through attack on the mean of globalization, which argue that the boundaries and power of nation-states are being eroded and that the nation-state is becoming irrelevant in the wake of virtually uncontrollable global economy based on world market forces. Most companies continue based sa nation in terms sa assets, production facilities, and sa kita. Their multinational business teams from such a national base and theirs does not appear too much in the way of movement toward the development of multinational businesses. There is no massive shift of investment and employment from advanced to developing countries. Foreign direct investment, or FDI, continues to be mainly in the advanced industrial economies, not in less developed countries. While these are solid arguments, they really come down to the point that contemporary economic globalization may not be as new or as great as many contend. The view adopted here that the economy is more global than the Hirsch and Thompson argue, and that is how grow even more globalized since their argument was published a decade ago.